It's the Weekend Garden Show featuring Sam.
Welcome back to the Weekend Garden Show. How's everybody doing, Soil Soldiers? Fall is definitely in the air over here at Fort Veggie. Bright sunshine, cool, crisp air. Oh yeah, we are here. So this episode is dedicated to my girl Dorsha, okay? Dorsha is one of the Soil Soldiers who had some questions about the amendments that I used in my garlic planting last week with you all. She wanted to know, why was I using those and what do they do for the garlic? So those are excellent questions, and I thank you so much, Dorsha, for asking them because they really help me to be a better content creator. It's all about sharing, information. And so I want to share what I've learned on this garden journey with you all, and hopefully we can all grow together. All right, so thank you so much. If you're not familiar with Dorsha, please check her out as well. She has a channel called Cooking with Dorsha. And get ready to drool, y'all. She's been doing it up over there. Lots and lots of good dishes. So I hope that you will go and check out her channel, Cooking with Dorsha. All right, so let's get right into it. All right, so whenever I am planting anything at all, because I grow in containers, I always start with a base of potting mix, and you can use whatever brand you like, and compost, okay? And you can use whatever brand or type of compost you like. So potting mix and compost is my base for my container growing plants. All right, to that I add in perlite. All right, perlite helps to keep the soil aerated. So what that means is soil tends to become compacted, especially after a rain. It just condenses and presses down, which is not the greatest for the roots of the plants. They really need free, loose soil to kind of stay oxygenated and healthy. So perlite does that by creating little pockets of air in the soil so that those roots can continue to get a good airflow. All right, so that's what I do by adding in the perlite. Then, depending on the plant, but usually regardless, I will add in some blood meal. Blood meal is high in nitrogen. So this is something that you would alter the quantity based on the plant that you're growing. So if you're growing leafy greens, you want to use a good amount of that because it's high in nitrogen. Nitrogen promotes foliage or leaf growth. And if you are planting like a root vegetable, you'll still want to use some nitrogen. That plant will still require nitrogen, but not as much because you're going to be focusing more on the root structure versus the top foliage part. Okay, so blood meal is what I added to my garlic as well because most of that plant is leaves, are leaves rather. Most of that plant are leaves. So definitely had to give it a good start with that. Then I also added in bone meal. Okay, bone meal right there, it's a great source of phosphorus, and phosphorus is awesome for the root structure of the plant, and that's what we're harvesting when we do garlic. We're harvesting the root. You can still eat the leaves as chives, and if you are growing the hardneck version of garlic, you can even cut and eat those delicious garlic scapes that are here taste like garlicky green beans. I've never grown those before or even had those before, so I'm looking forward to it this year since the variety that I chose was a hardneck. So yeah, phosphorus is what you get in bone meal, and that's what helps to promote the root growth of the plant. So that's why I use that one. Okay. Then I also added in some azomite. Okay, now what the heck is azomite? Azomite is essentially rock dust, right? This is something that if you are growing in your ground, in your, in the natural garden soil that you have, or if you use soil from your ground in like a raised bed, this is probably something you won't need to add because it's already in there. This product is mainly for container growers because rock dust is already part of your natural soil. It's literally ground up rocks, which provide micronutrients like iron and minerals and things that your plants wouldn't normally have access to in a container because you're using bagged potting soils and such. So those things lack a lot of the micronutrients that come from the actual earth. So azomite is a great way to get those nutrients to your plants without having to use your real garden soil. And you can actually use some garden soil in your container mix to get those micronutrients in. Just don't use too much because your normal garden soil will definitely be a lot more harder and compact. So again, that's not great for your root structure of the plants. But yeah, that's why I use azomite. Okay. And then the last amendment I added was sand. There it is right there. Desert sand. Okay. So what is sand about? I add sand because as I was looking into growing garlic, I read that garlic doesn't like wet feet. Well, how does garlic get wet feet? Garlic can get wet feet from just sitting in soggy soil. And soggy soil will cause it to rot. You don't want your garlic just hanging out in a bunch of super wet soil. So what that means is two things. You're going to need to make sure that your container has adequate drainage by making sure there's enough holes in the container to drain that excess water out. And then also, if you add sand, if you've ever been to the beach, you'll know that sand don't hold on to water for anything. Water will just pass right through quite freely. So that's the kind of effect that you're going for in your pot when you add in sand. It really helps to just let that water pass right on through. It doesn't absorb anything. It doesn't hold on to it. It just lets the water pass right through. And that's great for garlic because, again, they don't want to be in there rotting in that soggy soil. So I also use sand in my carrot potting mix and most of my root vegetables. It makes it easier for them to pull out of the ground, so there's less like chance of, ripping it apart or breaking it. Yeah, they don't sit in wet soil. So those are my amendments. And I hope that was helpful. I hope that I have explained everything properly, as again, I am still learning and growing myself, but I just really appreciated that you asked that question, Dorsha, truly, because I want to be able to provide content that is useful and that is helpful. And questions like these remind me to take a moment to do that. When you're new to gardening and new to content creating, it can be difficult to kind of judge what to leave in your video and what to cut out of your video, because you kind of get this feeling like y'all already know this stuff, I'm the newbie. But that might necessarily be the case. That might not necessarily be the case. And I have a lot more that I've learned, and I want to be able to share that with you guys. So thank you so much. I just thank you. I really appreciated that. If anybody else has any questions or any requests that you would like to make please send them my way. I'd love to hear what you all would be interested in seeing from me. That would be wonderful. Please send all of that my way. All right, so if you had a good time, and I sure hope that you did, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all next time on the Weekend Garden Show.